Hey guys, it's me Saran back with another video. I'm really enjoying my hair today. My hair's like doing a thing. It's like all very Star Wars, very Queen Amidala. I'm like really enjoying it. I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram, you'll see I put a bunch of like very Queen Amidala selfies up. I'm thinking of like maybe doing some Queen Amidala cosplay or something. But anyways, this video is basically going to be a rant. It's 10:53 a.m. and I feel like I have already been through so much this morning because of that video that I put up yesterday about this fantastic forecasting. This video is going to be about the Oppression Olympics rant. I don't know how many of you guys know what the Oppression Olympics are, but the Oppression Olympics is basically like when one marginalized group is talking about their oppression and other marginalized groups feel the need to like jump in and be like, well, my oppression is worse than your oppression. Cat Blaque has done a series of like vlogs about this. I'm gonna try to find them and like link them so you guys can watch them because her vlogs are really good. And it's like these Oppression Olympics are just like the dumbest shit in the world, honestly. And really, they're microaggressions. They're just microaggressions. And I mostly see this type of thing when I'm talking about, or when anyone, I mostly see this type of thing when people are talking about Black oppression, and like other marginalized groups have a tendency to like jump in and want to like make it all about them. Like, it's like really gross anti-Blackness. And it's like, just because you're a person of color, I've seen a lot of people of color, I've had people tell me on YouTube like they've still say something like really gross and racist and anti-Black, and I'll be like, you sound racist. And I'll be like, well, I'm Hispanic, so I can't be racist. Like, no. Even if you're a person of color, even if you're part of another marginalized group, you can still harbor anti-Blackness and you can still be racist against Black people. Like, yes, it's motherfucking still possible. Like, Black people are still more or less, you know, at the lowest rung of the totem pole. And a lot of these like microaggressions come from, you know, wanting to keep us oppressed. And when you like see this type of shit, I feel like it's very important to speak up because a lot of people don't even realize that they're doing it, right? It's just like the Black Lives Matter versus All Lives Matter, right? When you say Black Lives Matter, a lot of people in other marginalized groups especially have a tendency to feel like you're saying like their lives don't matter. And it's like, no, well, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that Black Lives Matter. So anyways, this all came from the video that I made yesterday because I have my phone here. I get up this morning and I go get on Tumblr and I see this like shitstorm has fucking descended on my dashboard and on my notifications because somebody reblogged my video, and left a commentary about mixed race families and interracial adoption. Mind you, you can go watch my video. At no point in my video do I say I hate biracial people, I hate mixed race people, I hate interracial people, I hate interracial families or interracial dating. At no point do I say that. All I ask is we have a story that already has a built-in setup to include, if you're going to cast a Black actor in a certain role, to include a Black woman in a similar role, and it seems very deliberate to go around that and cast a white actress and come up with a backstory as to why she's white. That was what I said. I never said, fuck mulattoes, okay? So I get up and it's just like this whole shitstorm of shit about interracial adoption. Because I said, somebody reblogged it and they were like, well, Johnny's family adopted Sue. And I feel like it's like good to see like interracial adoptions. I said, okay, that's fine. I was like, but my point is, why? What purpose does it serve having an adopted white Sue Storm? Is it just to give us a modern mixed race family? You know, there is hardly any Black female representation in comic book movies, so why do we need to see a modern mixed race family right now at this point in time? Especially when we have a movie that was tailor-made to give us a Black female character. And we need to see more Black women and other people of color. This is basically a huge missed opportunity to inject some of that much needed diversity into a major movie franchise, which is really how I feel about it, which is exactly the same thing I said yesterday, you know? I just said, you know, it would have been amazing to see a Black actress play Sue Storm. It would have been amazing to see a Black brother-sister duo on a team of superheroes, and the story is there. They are already brother and sister. No explanation needed as to why she's Black. I'm just so disappointed in this casting. At no point am I ripping multiracial people to shreds. At no point. And basically that person like reblogged me, and we got into a conversation about interracial adoption, where they were like, well, I see what you're saying, but I think it's important to show interracial adoption in film. What does that have to do with what I'm saying? Why does it have to be, I see what you're saying, but? Like, I see what you're saying, but I don't care. Like, I see what you're saying, but I feel like Black female representation is not as important as interracial, you know, families or interracial adoption. And then this person went on to tell me the story about how, you know, I'm married and I have a good job. I make a lot of money. I have 2 Black children. This was a black person. I have 2 Black children. We wanted to adopt a white child that needed a good home, but where we live in the South in Tennessee, and it wasn't allowed, you know, because interracial adoption. And I said, that's really sad, and that's horrible, and that's completely inappropriate. I was like, but that is not what we're talking about. And this right here is Oppression Olympics, right? I see what you're saying about Black people, but this other thing is more important. And I don't really actually give a fuck about Black people or about what the fuck you're saying. And we got into this back and forth, and I just felt like I kept seeing the same thing over and over. Like, let me see. Hold on, let me open it up. Because the one I just was looking at, it didn't have like the full, and of course now Tumblr's moving so slow. Has anyone else noticed that their Tumblr is moving really slow? Here it goes. But yeah, so we ended up getting into this like whole back and forth, you know, but it's so good to represent Black families who adopt white kids. And I'm like, okay, like I get what you're saying, and I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm saying like my point is this is not about mixed race. My point is not about mixed race families. My point is not about interracial adoption. I'm not trying to fucking tear down mixed race families or interracial adoption. I'm just saying I personally feel this was a missed opportunity to cast a Black woman, a young Black actress as a superhero would have been cool. Like, it would have been cool. Why do we have to get into this back and forth in these oppression Olympics about who's being more oppressed and what is more important? And then this person went on to say some things that I found to be really offensive. I said, you know, this movie is not going to be about interracial adoption policies. That's not, you know, a main component. That's not, the movie's going to be about the Fantastic Four. And, you know, however that goes is however it goes. That's just going to be a part of the backstory that explains why she's white. You know, I said, and even if they bring up the struggles of interracial adoption and mixed race families, which are legitimate, it is still pure deflection from the topic at hand, which is the fact that Fox had a perfect opportunity to throw a Black actress a lifeline, and instead they decided to cast yet another white girl to fulfill their sex gender quota in a comic book movie. And they said, this is what offended me. To show Black parents adopting non-Black kids to a wide audience, yes, and I'm here for it. It's a win. I was like, a win? A win for who? Like, interracial adopters? Mixed race families? Like, that's nice, but that is not what I'm talking about. Like, what is this deflection? And this happens every time you talk about Black oppression. Literally every time without fail, you could set your watch to the person that comes in and says, well, this issue is more important and this issue is the win, so we're just going to gloss over this Black oppression to focus on this issue. And it fucking pisses me off. It really pisses me off. You know, I said, like, who gets to decide what is important and what is not important? Like, who are you to tell me that this is a win? Like a win for who? Like what are you saying? What do you mean? Like we literally have to sit here and come up with reasons as to why Sue isn't black, because they literally sidestep the obvious narrative of casting a black Johnny and having them be black relatives. Why? Because interracial adoption is so integral to the Fantastic Four narrative. Sue and Johnny being brother and sister was literally the perfect setup to finally portray a young black female superhero, you know? This is a superhero movie. It's not an adoption movie, you know? Like, we could have finally seen black female representation, and instead we just get more young white representation, and that's what I'm talking about, you know? It's like, if you want to speak for the interracial adopters, that's great. That's wonderful. If that's your cause, if that's your crusade, you know, that's awesome. I was like, but don't tell me that this is a win when there isn't, you know, a sole black woman in the entire trailer. You know, this is a loss. And coming in and saying, well, who cares, or like, don't feel bad because this is a win for interracial relationships, it's a microaggression. It's a microaggression. It's telling me I need to shut the fuck up about black oppression because there are other things that are more important that need to be dealt with, basically, you know? Like, I was like, this is a loss for us. When do black women get to see, you know, representation? When do we get to see representation? I was like, and just to be clear, it's also not like we don't have a lot of mixed race family representation right now. There are mixed race families on lots of television shows, and I said Empire, Modern Family, and Shameless all immediately come to mind. And I have also seen quite a few films recently with interracial parents and children, like Gugu Mbatha Raw and Minnie Driver in Beyond the Lights. You had a white parent with a black child. And there were actually people in my comment section of my video yesterday saying like, man, I'm seeing so many representations of interracial families in film and TV. I feel like I'm not getting enough black families. You know, there are people that do feel that way. I was like, the dynamics behind interracial families are out there. They are out there. I said, but you know what isn't out there? A black female superhero not named Storm. A black sibling dynamic in speculative fiction. Black women in speculative fiction, period. You know, like, I'm not saying that multiracial families and interracial adoption and interracial families dynamics are not important, but stop trying to gloss over and erase what I'm saying by making it about biracial and mixed race families. What are you talking about? This is not the oppression Olympics. This is not about who's more fucking oppressed. That is so stupid to me. Anyways, and then the person went on, like kept on. This is a win for black families. Black families are rarely seen in film as healthy, loving families. Positive, loving black families need representation too, not just for adoption, but period. I was like, you're talking about black families that don't include black women. Positive, loving families that don't include black women, you know? The backstory of the Fantastic Four is that their mother is dead and they're being raised by their father, Dr. Storm. Like, I haven't even seen that anyone has even been cast to play the mother in flashbacks or anything. But they did even show the father in the trailer. So it's like, if the backstory is that she's adopted, is that she's being raised by this black single father. So she has a strong black father figure. We have a strong black young brother figure, and I'm not even going to get into the dynamics of protective black men and innocent white women needing to be saved. I will just post a link because you guys already know that I made a video about that common racial narrative, and it looks like that's what's about to unfold in this Fantastic Four movie. But we're also seeing, you know what, a loving, positive black family without any positive black female representation. And why? For what point? For what purpose does it serve? Exactly the same thing as I said in my movie yesterday. What is the point? What is the purpose? What is it? What is it? So in the midst of this conversation, somebody with apparently a huge fan base was reblogging stuff with this commentary about how hard it is coming from mixed race families, and how hard it is coming from interracial families, and how interracial families need more representation, and how I need to just shut up about black female representation, and I need to just accept that mixed babies exist. Like, fuck you, whoever you are, Small Hero 6, fuck you. You can eat my ass, you can kiss my grits. Like, I want to wish death on you, Like, I want to hope that you die, honestly. But I know people are going to be like, whoa, that's like too extreme. But it's just like, fuck you. Like, really, fuck you. And you sound like racist, anti-black trash, honestly. You sound like fucking trash, honestly. And I've made other videos, my Aaliyah video, where I discuss, if we're going to talk about the dynamics of mixed race and biracial identity as a person of color, I have discussed multiple times about how mixed race, aka minority, POC, other, plus white, is seen as more acceptable, especially within pop culture and within acting, within Hollywood. A lot of the times you have more mixed race representation. You have mixed race actors that are hired to play fully ethnic roles instead of having fully ethnic actors, like Alexandra Shipp, who's biracial, being cast to play Aaliyah, or like having a mixed race, you know, white and let's say Japanese person instead of a full Japanese person to play a Japanese character. And this is a legitimate issue that people have with representation, because it sends the message that you have to be part white to be acceptable. And then you have these fucking mixed race and biracial people that literally want to dig their fingers in their ears and stick their heads in the sand and act like they don't understand when you say this. Just like my Logic video on white passing privilege. They want to act like they don't have privilege, and like it's so absurd and so ridiculous for you to say, well, you know, as a black person, I would like to see more black representation. I don't like seeing black people being erased. I don't like to see black erasure. And that's a lot of people. I used Big Hero 6 as an example. And I didn't make this up. I fucking read this. There were lots of people in the Big Hero 6 fandom that are fully Japanese that were upset that the characters were portrayed as being mixed race and that the only parental figure you see is their white aunt. Like, even though they have the Japanese names, the only, you know, loving parental figure you see is their white aunt. People were like, I don't know how to feel about that as a fully Japanese person. It makes me feel like to be accepted or to be acceptable, I have to be half white or partially white. But it's like, if you say this to these fucking mixed race and biracial people, they get so offended. Like, oh, how dare you? You just need to fucking deal with it and know that biracial people are here to stay, honey. Like, if you don't get the fuck off my timeline with this bullshit, like, you sound very anti-black, very anti, you know, ethnicity, and very racist. And I said that. I was like, what the whole conversation is framed around black erasure in favor of mixed race, other plus white, and calling it diversity. And that is becoming a consistent pattern and a recurring issue that we're seeing in film in Hollywood. Instead of seeing a full Japanese family, we'll see mixed race kids with a white mother. Am I saying that those people don't exist? Am I saying that those people don't deserve representation? No, but there needs to be a balance, just like with everything else. We can't only see just mixed race families because it sends the message that you have to be mixed race. And that's logic that I don't understand. This oppression Olympics of me and you and me and you, and we need to talk about me and we need to talk about my oppression, and like, who cares if fucking black women are not represented? We need to talk about how mixed race people are not represented. You know how many mixed race people I saw in movies this year? Like, I did a tally. I was like, mixed race lead in a comic book movie, 1, Big Hero 6. Non fucking white lead in a movie? How many? How many do we have? How many do we have that are not in some form, way, or fashion mixed, white passing? It's like whiteness is the key to getting on. People want to argue this. They want to turn into this again, oppression Olympics, and it's so hard for us, and we're mulattoes, and we don't know where we fit. Are we here? Are we there? Our biracial identity? I don't care. I'm not talking about that. You are oppressing other people that are trying to talk about their experiences and their lack of representation and their need of diversity by making it all about you. Stop. 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 Stop it. At the end of the day, my point is black women need more representation. And you're arguing with me about mixed race representation and interracial adoption and all this shit. None of that negates the fact that black people black people, yes, in general, and black women especially, need more representation. I'm not trying to take anything away from you. I'm not trying to take anything away from your little bullshit ass cause. Do not come at me talking about, well, mixed race and interracial adoptions are here to stay and you need to fucking deal with it and that needs to be your cause. That's not my cause. I'm not mixed race. I'm black. I'm a black woman. I want to see more representation. If that's your cause, that's fine. But you don't need to come and involve me in this oppression Olympics about how it's so much harder for you because you're fucking mixed white and Puerto Rican. If you don't get your white passing ass out of my fucking face, logic, dick, cut it out. So stupid. So stupid. And I put on Tumblr, I was like, lesson of the day. Just because people are POC or in marginalized groups does not mean they're on your side, does not mean they're not racist, does not mean they're not anti-black, does not mean they're not waiting for the moment that they can jump on you and fucking try to oppress you just like everybody else. So watch your back. Peace.